Hi, I'm Pete McConville and welcome to my channel. And that is really what this video is all about. I used to be called Not So Obvious Watches. I naively thought that channel name change was no big deal. Turns out it was a big deal. A lot of you guys had questions about why it was going on. There was a lot of misconceptions, myths, rumors going about. So I figured, screw it, I will do a video. I'll try and keep it short and I'll try and explain why have I made this change. Okay, so first, a ground rule. I'm talking about why a bunch of watch enthusiasts like myself, Oisin, Adrian, and Britt have made a change to our names, our channel names. Everything I'm about to say does not apply to big production houses like Nico. Those guys are playing by fundamentally different rules than us. So everything you've heard about what they do and why they're making their decisions simply doesn't apply to us and the decisions we are making. Okay, so with that said, let's get over some of the other things that aren't why we have changed our name, or at least why I haven't changed my name. Start with the idea it's got something to do with terms of service, monetization, that sort of thing. God forbid someone even said tax. No, utterly unrelated. My relationship with Google is as a natural person. Before I get within a bull's roar of monetization, we exchange all sorts of legal documents. They know my identity, all that sort of thing. I interact with them as a legal, natural person. My channel name is utterly irrelevant. I could change the channel name multiple times a day. It is literally a single user settable field on our page, and Google wouldn't care. It would make no difference to any of my account. The second issue is around, maybe this has got something to do with search engine optimization. Maybe this is about trying to surf the algorithm. Certainly for me, absolutely not. And I suspect for the others as well. At the small end where we are, channel name makes essentially no difference to whether you turn up on someone's home screen or not. It makes very little difference to whether you turn up in search results. If I search, there are people, smaller channels I know, where I search I know exactly what their name is, I'll put it in, and I won't get their channel. I'll get videos that include one or two of those words. The truth is the algorithm is far more centered on YouTube, on descriptions, names, keywords, thumbnails, than on channel name. Even massive channels like Watchfinder will tell you, despite having hundreds of thousands of subs, their quick numbers are driven solely by whether Rolex is in the title or not. There's a science guy I like, Joe Scott. He talks about how, if he does a show on, if his title includes words like vampire children of Arkansas, he'll get 10 times more views than if he talks about advancements in sulfur dioxide battery technology. It's just, like I said, video, title, description, thumbnails, keywords, that drives clicks infinitely more powerfully than channel name. Okay, so if that's kind of why we're not changing our names, why are we changing our names? Certainly for me, it's because I didn't particularly like my channel name. It was feeling like it was constraining me. It was a constriction rather than an aid to where I wanted to go. I created my channel name in like 15 minutes on a rainy Sunday afternoon 3 years ago because I thought it sounded kind of funny, and this whole lark would be done in a couple of months. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that 4.5 years later, I would still be, probably not that long, maybe 3 years later, I'd be still doing this and chafing against that name I picked on a whim. I look at Adrian, he's made no secret of the fact he's always been uncomfortable that he's kind of had this default name, which he just picked up from a shared Instagram account and is associated with a mate that's got nothing to do with what he does. And again, the minute, it was probably in 2021, I think, when Brittany turned up as Watch Gringa, I've got to say, as soon as I clicked on that and saw a white girl with a weird Canadian British accent with the word Gringa in her title, I thought, There is no way that's going to last. The truth is, we enthusiasts picked universally, we almost always pick terrible names that we've wanted to change for ages, and we just didn't because we didn't realize how easy it was. So, having decided you're going to change your name, you've got to decide what it is. And for me, I found it really hard to find an alternative. Look, there are people like Jody at Just One More Watch that cover a nice, neat, clean little niche. All he does is review affordable watches. The idea of Just One More Watch captures that beautifully and succinctly. Doesn't create any problems for him at all. Go for your life. Keep on going forever, Jody. I tend to talk about all sorts of things. What's going on in the industry, the philosophy of collecting, the psychology of our preferences, all sorts of stuff. And trying to sum all of that up was just nightmarish. I couldn't come up with some pithy little thing I wanted to call myself. But you know what? I figured it's my opinion. If I just use my name, kind of covers it all, doesn't it? So I figured, yeah, why not? Use my name. Associated with that last question around my name, my opinions, there is an element of branding. The truth is, you don't come to me for facts. If you do, you're in the wrong place, and you clearly haven't watched any of my other videos. I treat facts like ingredients in a recipe. You want to have the best quality ingredients and as few as possible. And that's kind of how I do business. As fewer facts, but as good quality as you can get. The real meat, the real reason we're here is opinions. And most importantly, my opinions. I'm not like Nico. I don't sit down and carefully figure out what opinions are going to get me the most clicks. And therefore I put Rolex at the top and Hublot at the bottom of a watch hierarchy. You know, what you get is me and what I think. My opinions, my channel, my name, my brand. Why wouldn't I use my name for that? Okay, so if that's why I've changed my name or why I've chosen the name I chose, me, why now? Well, for me, there's a couple of things. One is confidence. When I came into this, I wasn't comfortable with the idea that friends and family who don't know about my secret little hobby might stumble upon me. And I figured that maybe if I didn't, if I kept the name Pete McConville off, a channel or something, it would help hide that a little bit. One, as I mentioned earlier, makes no difference, utterly irrelevant. And two, I've kind of learned to be comfortable with that. I've got comfortable with comments. I've got comfortable with snarky remarks. I've got comfortable with meeting people out there in the world who kind of have come across my channel. One of the things you'll notice about all the people making the change is we've pretty much all taken a punch to the face on YouTube and learned that it doesn't kill us. So I think personally for me, right now, I just feel comfortable in making that change. Something else which has really cropped up very recently for me, but I think you'll notice it with a lot of other people as well, is the increasing number of collabs and cooperations and live streams has kind of makes it's much easier to do that if you're using just your name. I've found if I go on like the Casual Watch Reviews live stream, it's just so much easier if I'm just Pete McConville than if I'm Pete from Not So Obvious Watches. It's just, yeah, like I said, using my name, it's just easier to do those sorts of things. Okay, so next point, why all of us now? Oh, that's just easy. That's just straight up contagion effect. I think a lot of us have been thinking about doing this change for a while. Personally, I've been thinking probably for the last 4 or 5 months, this is something I want to do, but it was always out there one day. It was always something I'll get round to. There's probably a lot of work involved. So, I'll dedicate a weekend or a week to it, one day. And then I saw Britt do it, and to be honest, I thought she probably didn't put a huge amount of effort into this. It probably isn't that hard. Maybe I should bring that plan forward. And then Adrian did it, and I went, bugger, it's clearly not that difficult. And in fact, at that point, I started getting in my own head thinking, oh God, I'm good. Now it's going to look like I'm jumping on a bandwagon, which I kind of am. But really, it's just all these people who are showing me how easy, because they're doing it, how easy this is to do. And then one day I just said, right, that's it. It's happening. And I was just furious with myself when I opened up the screen, had a look at it and realized it's a field. It is literally a field I have to change. Change that field, press save, and we're done. It's harder to edit the details of a video I've published than it is to change the name of my channel. There was probably another 15 minutes of changing some photos in banners and things, and then that was it. Filming this video, you watching this video, it took longer than me changing the entire identity of my channel. It was shockingly easy. And I think that there was a bunch of us who probably, as I said, it's this contagion effect. We saw other people do it. That got us thinking, oh, it's probably easier than we thought, prompted us to take that next step, see how easy it is, and then just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. Okay, so we'll get to the end and I'll make you some promises. It doesn't mean anything in terms of my content. I'm not changing my content. I'm not going to be trying to branch off in different directions and get away from watches. The idea of being not so obvious is still a huge part of kind of my identity. And I'm thinking that instead of having it the channel, I'm going to be weaving it into things like my titles and my descriptions a lot more because it works more there than it does as a channel name. Well, at the moment, I have zero plans. I know Adrian spoke about like maybe using more photography stuff. I've got no plans to do any of that. I do have another channel which I've never really put any effort into. Maybe I'll do that, but that will be somewhere else. So that you shouldn't really notice, I don't think, any changes in my channel as a result of this name change. You know what? There's one thing maybe I should say. I've never made any secret of the fact I'm a serving member in the Royal Australian Air Force. I'm subject to postings. One of the things that's kind of been hanging over me is I'm supposed to be coming up to a posting at the end of the year. I've got that. It's done. I know where I'm going. In fact, more importantly, I know I'm staying where I am. So that's all really good. And I've also been advised this will be my last posting. I will be retiring in a few years. That has made me look inside a little bit. That has made me think a little bit more about this channel and where do I want to go and where am I going in the long run. There is a possibility that may have some impact on what I talk about. That may have some impact on some branding changes and things, which have begun to think maybe it's not a bad idea. Because sooner or later I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands. So yeah, there may be some changes, but it won't be because I changed my name. It's because there's much bigger things going on in my life and in the world around me. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope that helped you sort of understand certainly why I've made some changes, and why some other people might have too. Anyway, as I said, I've been Pete McConville. This is my channel, and interested in what your thoughts are. Stick them in the comments below. Bye.